Good morning, Martin Stark. Thanks for joining us here at Yellow Shelf.
Thank you for inviting me. What a beautiful morning we're having here today.
It is. Congratulations, your book. It's officially out, well, next week, but by the time viewers see this, it'll be out. Your book is called Courage, Your Right Hook. Martin, what do we need to know about it?
So the book is basically learning the 6 pillars of courage and making courage a habit. And it's a book which started out as a memoir and then turned into a business self-learning book, stroke memoir. So for anybody who doesn't know my backstory,
Mm.
I founded and set up the World Gay Boxing Championships to disrupt homophobia in boxing. And I've organised the world's first 2 boxing competitions for the LGBTQ plus community. But I discovered boxing in 2018 because it's a way of overcoming PTSD. And my backstory is in 2006, I was in 2 induced comas and had a tracheotomy. And that whole experience of being in comas were reignited back at the end of 2017 when I almost died from a rare autoimmune condition I have called Addison's disease.
Yeah.
And boxing was something I discovered by accident and fell in love with the sport. And courage is my favorite word, and it's what I'm all about. So it's combining my story with how you can learn different pillars of courage and making it a habit.
And Martin, if we're curious about the book, what do we need to know about, how do you break it down into chapters? Tell us as much as you can within a couple of minutes about the pillars.
So
Um,
basically, I break each chapter down into either a pillar of courage or a step of making it a habit. So the pillars of courage are emotional courage, moral courage, physical courage, empathetic courage, steadfast courage, and cerebral courage. So there are many different facets of courage. We're breaking it down with relatable anecdotes, with my own story, but also an example from history, or a famous person, or an example of a profession or from the world of nature. So there's a story of elephants and there's a story of kangaroos.
yeah.
And at the end of each chapter, there's actually an exercise of how you can apply what I've taught you in the book and what you've read in the book. And I've got a very vivid imagination. When I have yellow hair, you have to have a vivid imagination. So all of these imaginary scenarios, because I want to transport you from the world we're in right now into something very different, something that would never ever happen. And then you can actually apply what you've learned through that imaginary scenario and the particular pillar of courage or the step of making it a habit.
And look, Martin, look, I've been connected with you for a long time. And it's super exciting that you're finally releasing your first book. Um, I just love you to share a bit about you. I know you've touched on some of your journey and your background. What inspired you to write the book and tell us what we need to know about you? I mean, I know that you're a top voice on LinkedIn, you're super passionate, you literally travel the world and support your causes. Tell us about yourself.
So I'm Martin Stark, the courage champion, and I had the word courage tattooed on my back, just above fear nothing. I'm all about courage.
Yeah.
Proud, openly gay man, originally from the UK, proud Australian.
Yes.
And I've been fighting for the LGBTQ plus community and against racism, homophobia, at the same time as actually building relationships and building a community. Prior to that, I had 20-year corporate experience, 15 years of that within negotiating technology outsourcing contracts and technology contracts. So I've got a very successful corporate career,
Yeah.
turned that into promoting content about courage on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
becoming a keynote speaker, changing the world of sports. But at the same time, I've just made many great friendships and built a community really around uh, the core theme of courage.
Yeah. And so then what inspired you to write the book? So this is your first one. Why the leap? I guess you're going to be able to be exposed to a wider audience. But yeah, what was the premises for writing a book?
I always wanted to write a book, and people suggested, write a book, write a book. And I was like, yes, it's on my list of goals.
Yeah.
But I was literally ready to write my story and share the story. I'd just come back from Chicago for the second World Gay Boxing Championships. whereas one of the only Australians to ever throw the ceremonial opening pitch for the Chicago Cubs.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, I've done so much already. Let's write the book now. I was ready to write the book.
Yeah. Oh, fabulous. And Martin, if we're listening wherever we are in the world, how do we connect with you? Tell us about your website. What if we want to know more?
So my website is mardinstark.co, and there's
Yes.
some information about me as a keynote speaker, a LinkedIn course, and obviously about the book. You can connect with me on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
literally Mardin Stark. I'm on there all of the time. Far too much time on LinkedIn because I connect with some amazing people. And I have a YouTube channel which is called The Courage Champion. Have a bit of content there.
Yep.
I'm going to be doing more on YouTube in 2025.
Yeah. And look, I'll put that in the show notes to make it really easy for anyone watching to connect. Martin, I know we were having kind of a cheeky chat before we started, and you alluded that there might be more books in the works. So will you promise you'll come back and share with Yellow Shelf when
Uh,
future books come?
Absolutely. I'm sharing I'm writing my second one right now, and I'm going to write my third one in parallel, starting on the 1st of January 2025. So I'm definitely hooked into being a writer.
Awesome, Martin. All the very best. Thanks for joining us here at Yellow Shelf.
Brilliant. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.